How's it going, my truant people? Dr. Slacking, the Slacking Doctor, back with the Week 1 team builder for your Bone Bovines in the PGBL. And I should quickly say, for those of you that follow the Heart Gold Dr. Lock series on the channel, I know there's not many of you, but for those of you that do, we will have a bonus episode up on Sunday. It should be an hour of power to make up for the fact that it isn't going up today. The upload schedule for that series is going to change slightly because we're going to have PGBL team builders on Fridays from now on. I don't want to double upload on Fridays. So, yes, moving on from that. This week your Bowling Bovines are taking on Vizually and his Cincy Scizors. I should really have checked this after recording the game. We have already played the game and I have already recorded that. Basically, I was just slow to get my team builder graphics sorted. I didn't know exactly what graphics we were getting from the league themselves, so I just kind of delayed until I knew before sorting out my own team builder graphics. I might be the only person doing team builders, I don't know. But anyway, let's jump into this and look straight at my opponent's team. Vizually, having looked at, I think it's pronounced Vizually, having looked at his record in the PGBL last season, having looked at his channel, watched some of his games and stuff, I expect him to be one of the major title contenders this season. I think he went something like 8-3, 8-2 last season, so definitely one of these strong favourites to win the league this season. So we're not going kind of all out here. I didn't fully use the front office to try and get lots of input from different people. I think possibly tested with Aquarius. If I did, thank you to them. But yeah, other than that, really just trying to get as much kind of information against my opponent here as I can, because this is someone that, should we go on to win this league, which is very much our goal, of course, final Wi-Fi league before Gen 8, we want to try and go all the way. This would be valuable to get some information. So, looking at his team here, you can see the Clefable, the Z Kartana, the Z Komodo, the Neoligo, Staraptor, Arachnid, Crocodile, Magmortar, Mesprit, Rotom, and Mega Glalie. Now, I actually think this is one of the scariest and best drafts in the league. This looks like a team that I would draft the hell out of. I love this team. Kartana is my all-time most valuable Pokemon in draft leagues. That's all been off the channel, unfortunately, you guys have never seen that. But it is my all-time kill leader. I think it's something like 18 games that I've brought it to. It's only ever fainted once. So, yeah, this monster, absolute monster Kartana. Komodo, fantastic mon. Neoligo, again, that double Ultra Beast core, they can just spiral and snowball and win games on their own so quickly, which is very, very scary. Clefable, very good fairy, etc, etc. So, looking at his team, I don't expect the Kartana to come, having sung its praises. I just think it has a terrible matchup against me, and that was partly intentional. In the draft process, I knew that Viz was a very good player, and I was like, I should make sure I have a Kartana check, so we can handle that thing very, very well, and I think it has a terrible matchup, but it could come into Kartana. You always have to be prepped for it, because if someone brings it even to a bad matchup and you haven't prepped for it, it will sweep you. Then there's Komodo. I do think this thing will come, as I do think the Clefable will come. Nihiligo, I think, has a pretty decent chance of coming. Staraptor, I think, has a pretty decent chance of coming. Arachnid, I think, has a decent chance of coming. Crocodile, less sure on. Scarf looks pretty disastrous in this matchup, but it's a possibility. Other than that, if it comes, I think it will be because he wants it to be as Rocker, maybe. I could see maybe an Intimidate set coming as well, but it struggles with things like the Zapdos and the Hydreigon for sure. Then there's Magmortar here. I don't think Magmortar has a great matchup, to be honest. Mesprit, I think, has a very good matchup. I think a Colbur Berry Bait looks very, very likely, but I could also see a Scarf set coming. I think that could be very, very interesting. But yeah, I am a little bit worried about Mesprit, but not super concerned. If it does come, then it could also be Rocks. Rotom here, I think, will almost certainly come, along with the Arachnid. These are the two checks to Lucario, and I do think that Lucario looks pretty good against this team, so I expect him to bring at least one, if not both of those, to try and take on the Lucario. Mega Glalie at the end there, always a threat if you're not prepped for it, but if you prep for it, you can limit it to 1 kill max. It shouldn't be able to bust down a whole team, but spikes, of course, can be problematic. So, what is the first one on our team that we are bringing here? Well, we're bringing that Cairo, the Lucario, that will be shiny for this week, and if we win, it will stay shiny for the rest of the season, and if we lose, it will go back to being regular, because I can't decide if I prefer shiny or regular Lucario, so we're going to just put it on this game, see what happens. We are rocking the Darkinium Z set with Sub, SD, Crunch, and Meteor Mash. The reason for this set is basically I can set up to +2 on quite a lot of things, potentially forcing switches out, and Meteor Mash really rips through his whole team, barring the Arachnid and the Rotom, which both die to a +2 Crunch, depending on their spreads. Even some Colbur Rotoms will die to +2 Crunch, so that's pretty nice. Substitute is on there because if the Rotom wants to pivot in on me and is slower than me, I can potentially get a Substitute up on a Will-O-Wisp, and then I can go to +4 maybe if I want to get get greedy, or I can just stay behind the sub and stop certain things coming in to revenge kill me. Like, for example, if Crocodile wants to come in to revenge kill me but I'm behind a sub, I might be able to scare that thing from ever coming in because he won't know if I have fighting coverage, or I might just be able to +2 Meteor Mash it down, or even +1 if he's an Intimidate set. So there's just different ways that this thing can really pressure if I can get it behind a substitute, which could be huge in this game. Moving on to the second one on the team, we have our primary win condition. If we can break through that Rotom specifically, Scarf Bravebird looks phenomenal in this matchup. Kartana would need some chip on it, but other than that, really, there's only the Ice Shard from Mega Glalie to pressure this thing. Otherwise, Scarf Bravebird looks fantastic. Speed control-wise, it is faster than his whole draft, so there are no Scarfers or speed boosters that are going to be faster, barring like Tailwind sets or things like that, or Agility or whatever. Maybe if he gets Webs up, he can slow other things down, but that's why I feel like this is such a good win con against him, because he cannot slow down Dodrio with Webs. So yeah, this thing can revenge kill a +1 Komodo, for example, if he wants to Dragon Dance. It can revenge kill a Scarf Kartana with the jump kick on there. I was going to run Hidden Power Fire, but it messed up my EVs, so I didn't. Or my IVs, sorry. It can kind of revenge kill Nihilego to some extent. Not super well, but Nihilego is pretty frail, so knockoff / jump kick, even stab, can hit it pretty hard. In general, I just think if we can remove that Rotom, particularly baiting it with that Lucario, then this thing is a fantastic win con against this team, and I expect Scarf Dodrio to be able to pick up some kills in this matchup. Moving on to the third one we have here, we have Hearts and Nidoqueen. Really just here to be a reliable rocker in the team. Its Drill Stab does hit his team pretty well. There's things like the Clefable that are very pressured between Meteor Mash from Lucario and Sludge Wave. From this, we have good ways of breaking down a Clefable. The Arachnid can kind of come in on this and tank a Sludge Wave pretty well, but we can Toxic it if we feel like this thing is expendable. But primarily, you can see there that we have the Payapa Berry on this. What that does is reduce super effective Psychic type moves by 50%. So basically, we can take a Nihilego, I think at like +2, his Psychic is still doing less than 50%. So we know that I can let this thing get to around the 50% mark and still always be able to take on a Nihilego. Potentially something like a Shuckerberry Nihilego could be a pain, but the chance of Shuckerberry Nihilego getting to +2 against my team with his Shuckerberry intact seems pretty unlikely, and without still being in range of my Earth Power, because we still do like 60-70% with that Earth Power. So in general, I feel like this thing is a fantastic emergency safety net against Nihilego, which, as I say, could come, could not come, but its dual stabs are both walled by Hearts here, so I feel like Hearts is a very, very good Nihilego check. Moving on to the fourth mon, the fifth mon of the team? Fourth mon, fifth mon, which one are we on? Fourth mon, I believe, on the team here. We have Pedro, our Zapdos. Now, like I said, you cannot completely ignore Kartana. No matter how poor you think a Kartana's matchup is, you have to bring switch-ins, or at least something to revenge kill it or whatever. So we have our Dodge Trio to revenge kill any set, and we have our Pedro here to wall any set, really. His best option would be something like Z Giga Impact, with like Swords Dance Z Giga Impact, but realistically, I don't think that has good matchup still. You might be able to bop the Zapdos, but I can potentially scout for it, and I can still revenge kill you. If you go with a timid set, you can't outspeed Scarf Dodrio. It's just a whole load of things that I think Kartana really, really struggles with against my team. But, like I say, it would be dumb of me not to at least bring something for it. So here we have Pedro. You can see we're not rocking the Heat Wave. That's how much I'm not really fearing it. Discharge is still going to do a ton to it. Static is still going to be really obnoxious for it. This set basically can abuse the hell out of things like Arachnid, Crocodile, potentially even Clefable if he's not a set-up variant. We can just spam Discharge. If we can Toxic on the Crocodile, that thing is always going to be trying to spam Knockoff or Stone Edge or whatever. If we can outspeed it and roost up on it, we can potentially do that. I think we actually made this set to try and underspeed Crocodile so that we wouldn't have to deal with Earthquake shenanigans. So I'm pretty sure I did mock the Aquarius for this one, because I think that was their suggestion, that we made this thing slower than Crocodile was originally faster, so that we can get the slow roost off on it and not have to worry about it earthquaking us on our roost. So that's the kind of idea of this set here. Just basically to be really, really obnoxious, spread paralysis, spread toxic, and be very hard for him to deal with. Late game, it can also beat things like a Rotom, Mesprit, and potentially an unaware Clefable with just toxic spam and then roost. These things cannot break Zapdos. It is just too bulky for them. So that could be really, really useful too. And then moving on to the fifth member of the team here, we have our Choice Specs Hydreigon Rouge coming through. Draco Meteor, Dark Force, Flash Cannon, Roost. This was originally a Roselli Berry set with Work Up on it as well to try and break through his team. But then I thought, you know what, instead of wasting time clicking Work Up and doing all that good stuff, let's just prioritize damage. So we're just going to run Specs. He doesn't have the best switch-ins. Clefable can switch in, but he doesn't really know me, and if I'm an aggressive player and I want to click Specs or Flash Cannon on the switch, that's pretty scary. So this thing can be tough for him to deal with. I can make that aggressive play if I think he's looking like a very safe player. This game, I think, will be us two kind of feeling each other out. I doubt he knows anything about me at all, and I'm still trying to learn about him. So definitely will be interesting to see how that kind of pans out. In general, I think this thing has good matchups. Specs Dark Pulse can really rip through his team, especially if it's like Fizz Def Clefable. It will take a lot if it's unaware as well, taking Hazard's chip too, and we can potentially get free momentum into things like my Lucario or whatever else to kind of apply the offensive pressure. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this set. And then moving on to the final member of the team. This wasn't originally going to come. Shout out to Aquarius for suggesting this set and saying that I had to bring it. We have Gato, the Mega Alakazam with Psychic, Signal Beam, Encore, and Recover. I felt like Encore was a really good tech here to be able to deal with a potential setup Clefable. If it wanted to Soft Boil, we can Encore into that. If it wants to do Cosmic Power / Calm Mind, we can Encore into that. And then potentially get free setup, free substitutes on our Lucario again. Psychic basically means that if he's non-Scarf / non-speed boosting Kartana, we can come in, we can kill Kartana, and we can get a Beast Boost. We can get that nice special attack raise and suddenly apply so much offensive pressure against this team. Another reason why I think Kartana has a terrible matchup, you don't want to give Mega Alakazam Beast Boost. Nobody wants to do that. So yeah, this thing just looks really scary. Signal Beam hits things like the Mesprit and the Crocodile being his main two. Psychic resists. I don't have super effective coverage for, say, the Rotom, which we might want Shadow Ball for. But honestly, I don't really care. I feel like Psychic is good enough to hit Rotom, and we don't need any damage, any extra damage from this thing. It's already going to hit so hard. So that is the team. As I say, the primary win con is a late game Scarf Dodrio. Primary breakers are Lucario and potentially this Alakazam, although I see the Alakazam more as a revenge killer, and the Dodrio to some extent. And then the kind of primary just annoyances, bulky mons to whittle down his fat are the Nidoqueen and the Zapdos. And I think that covers the whole team, right? I think that's everything we have. Oh, and Hydreigon in there as well, just to be another wall breaker, a secondary wall breaker. I've never used Lucario before, and I'm not sure how well I'm going to be able to execute it in this match, so this gives us a bit of a backup there. So, assuming all of these mons come through for us, I think we have a better matchup here. I do think our team actually stacks up better against our opponents and our opponent's team against us. But as I say, this is more of a research trip than anything else to try and scout our opponent and figure out how he plays for a potential rematch in playoffs. Assuming we both make it there, and as I say, we will be fighting our hardest this season to try and get a good run towards playoffs. So, hope you guys enjoy this team. Let me know what you think down below. The match will be up tomorrow, and it's a pretty good one. You should be looking forward to it. Thank you so much for loafing around with me, and I'll catch you again next time.